Toyota's president will have to do some recalling of his own next week when he testifies before a U.S. congressional hearing. Will this public testimony help restore public confidence in the company? Here to answer that question and much, much more, investigative journalist and RT contributor Wayne Madsen. Wayne, talk to me about what this means. First, we heard that Toyota was not going to testify, and then he changed his mind. Why this change of heart, and what's he going to say?
Well, the congressional committees appearing before the Government Reform and Oversight Committee in the House has asked him to testify. He's agreed to do that. The major issue here seems to be not Toyota as much as its suppliers, and one in particular who supplied the accelerator pedal is an American firm called CTS out of Elkhart, Indiana, and technical standards is a very dry subject, but it's very important here because the company CTS received what's called an ISO 9000 quality assurance certification. That ISO is International Standards Organization. That's a program where U.S. manufacturers work with the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, part of the Department of Commerce. The standard used by CTS apparently is much less than that of Toyota, which has a much higher standard. I've been talking to people in the standards business. They've cited this as a fact and said, look, Toyota's getting a bum rap here. If they had used their own accelerator pedal according to their own higher standard, they wouldn't have had these problems.
So you're saying, I mean, Toyota is obviously based out of Japan, but a very high-selling car here in the United States. You're saying that the car manufacturers in Japan actually used parts from America that were not made as well?
Not made as well, and this is all part of the free trade construct using U.S. content. But the issue with CTS is it seems like the quality assurance certification, the whole program may be politicized by the Obama administration, and I think that sends a chilling message to all foreign manufacturers who are using U.S. content.
So next week we will hear from him, and he's going to be questioned by California Congressman Darrell Issa. What do we expect? What kind of questions do you think they'll ask? Do you think they'll be hard on him?
Well, Issa probably will be, but it's interesting to note Darrell Issa, his background, he was charged with felonious auto theft in Ohio and California. He's probably not the best person to be asking questions about malfeasance with an auto manufacturer, but I think this is part of the whole Republican Party problem. They have people like Issa who's going to be asking the questions, and he has a very poor track record himself.
Well, we have to remember, too, the case that's been highly publicized with the California Highway Patrol and his family, who all were killed in this crash that happened not far from Darrell Issa's district. Talk a little bit about what's going to be fixed here. I mean, do you think that Toyota will continue to use parts from the United States after this?
Well, it'd be interesting to see if Mr. Toyota, the chairman, brings this up before the committee. And if he does, I think it's going to focus attention more on this U.S. company, CTS. And we have to look at President Obama is now he's a car salesman. He owns General Motors, now called Government Motors. And the issue is, people used to say, would you buy a car from Richard Nixon? Now people might be asking, would you want to buy a car from Barack Obama?
So what happens next in terms of these standards? I mean, is this going to force the United States to raise the standards?
Well, I understand the whole standards process, which includes not only NIST, but similar standards organizations in Britain and the European Union have all been politicized. So there may be a need to take a look at this whole quality assurance regime to make sure it's not being used by certain governments to gain unfair market advantage. And that may be what's at play here with Toyota and also Honda.
Any idea why the chief executive there changed his mind in terms of coming? I mean,
well, I think the fact is that he was seeing a lot of bad press. He probably wants to look like his company's being cooperative, and I'm sure he weighed that against the problem he might have with some very aggressive questions being asked, especially by Mr. Issa, but also Adolphus Towns, the chairman. He's a very close political ally of Obama, so I'd watch his line of questioning as well.
He probably didn't want to wait quite as long as, I don't know, say Tiger Woods waited to come out and address the problem. All right, Wayne Madsen, investigative journalist and RT contributor, thank you so much.